student.
Khaleel Loyd.
Back again.
First things first, when we first started, we had some technical issues that, did not allow us to podcast at the time, but you're back and I'm so thankful.
Happy to be back.
Oh, so thankful for your time. Okay. And your patience. Ooh, the patience.
Look, grace. We have to extend a lot of it to ourselves and to each other. So it's just all good.
First things first, we have entered and we are exiting Q4. What has been a really good piece of advice that someone has said to you this year that you're like holding on to? And they said it this year.
This year. I mean, I have a lot of different like mantras that just kind of play through my head a lot. I think what's been most prevalent at this stage of like my life in this particular quarter, like right now, is two things: it's being grounded in gratitude and just controlling the controllables. I think for me, it allows me to have like this peace, right, that surpasses all understanding. Like no matter what's happening around me, Khalil, just control what you can control. And then also understanding that like life is precious, and sometimes it can be short. Life is but a vapor. And so just to be really like grounded in the gratitude of life is something that's been sitting with me more recently.
I respect that, especially because there's so much going on in the world around us, going on with people in our community. So it's like, how can we as individuals just, like you said, control? We can control and hopefully create a safe space around us, so we can get that in return.
That's right.
So, okay. What project are you working on right now? Like right at this moment?
Yeah, so there's a project that we're going into production this week that I can't talk about, but it'll be out in the next month or so. It's with a sports team, and I'm really excited for that one. We have a lot of like internal projects that we're working on, and so we just launched a new community called New Age Creatives.
Yes,
and that's NU. New stands for frequency, and the whole idea about New Age Creatives was to create this community of creative entrepreneurs that was thirsty for education, information, network. And so, we launched a community to provide just that. So we're going to have some events that's happening over the next couple of weeks here at the studio in Camp North End. And I'm really excited about that. I'm hosting a session called The Blueprint. And I'm going to be talking to McGuire, who is the owner of Surefire.
Okay.
Him and his brothers started Surefire. We met a few years ago. And so we're going to be talking about family business and everything that comes with that. And then my younger brother, Malik, he's hosting a workshop on DaVinci Resolve, which is editing software.
Right.
So excited about those projects at the studio.
Okay. So a lot of moving parts. Let's go back to New Age Creatives. Yeah. So, okay, let's say I sign up. Am I signing up for something specific that I need? Like, let's say I need help with the camera, like learning the settings and everything to make a really good picture visually? Or is it, this is the curriculum or this is the area of expertise we're going to focus on this month? Like, how does it work?
Yeah. So it's it's an online community.
Okay.
And you get access to all of our events for free. You also get access to our educational repository.
Okay.
So we've like pre-recorded some content that lives on the site. You can tap into like our office hours as well. And so to your point, like, if you do have a question specifically about editing, about camera, about lenses, whatever the case may be, then you can schedule like one-on-one time with us.
Okay.
And we'll help you out.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you see of this new community? Like, what do you really want? Because it's just starting. So is there anything like in the future that you see it becoming?
Yeah. So, we live in a time where like everyone maybe has a side hustle. We live in this like gig economy, this creator economy. And so we see a world in which we can continue to support creative entrepreneurs. Like if you are an artist, a painter, for example, if you do music, right? If you or a photographer, a videographer, someone that just, wants to start a business, is a, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Then we want to create this community that supports, that creator economy. We realized through our almost 10 years of running a business that, we made a lot of mistakes. We learned a lot, made a lot of connections. And so what better way to kind of bundle all of that information, experience up into this community where people can take advantage of it and decrease their learning curve. So I think big picture for us is to continue to grow the community as far and wide as it can go.
Yeah.
And just to be able to help impact lives positively by helping them create sustainable lives for themselves through their creativity.
Okay. What do you think is the learning curve? Is it equipment accessibility?
Mm-hmm.
Is it knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it lack of motivation?
I think it could be all the above, quite frankly. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of just meeting people where they are, right? People come from different backgrounds, different experience levels. Maybe, you're just coming out of college, or maybe you worked a corporate job for 5 years and looking to pivot. And so the good thing about what we've done is we've kind of experienced it all, right?
Yeah.
I went to college, went to corporate, pivoted into owning my own business for the past almost 10 years. And so I think there's just a lot of experience share that we can provide.
Yeah.
And so wherever you're at along your journey, we can find somebody to help you.
Yeah. Okay. If there was a moment back in time where you needed this community, when you were up and coming, what would you have needed that wasn't around during the time that you were really taking a leap of faith out of one opportunity to the next in production?
Yeah, a great question. I mean, and that's the reason why we started the company. Why we started the community was because I wanted to be who I needed when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
We grow up and we're taught to go to school, go to college, go to the military, go to trade school potentially. There's not a lot of different options unless your parents or someone in your family owned a business.
Yeah.
And, you realize that entrepreneurship or business ownership is a route for you. And so me early on, I grew up, south side of Greensboro. And, I was blessed to have my father in my life, but a lot of my friends didn't.
Yeah.
And so, they took to the streets, or they took to, whatever they was into. And they didn't get a chance to, I think, truly tap into their full potential.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of Einsteins and geniuses that live in these, sometimes hopeless environments that don't have the resources and the education to be able to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what I hope to be able to provide to those the younger version of Khaleel that was trying to figure it out. And I'm still trying to figure it out, to be honest. But through experience, right, talked about that learning curve, we can decrease, the ability for, that 18-year-old to get to where we're currently at, hopefully a lot quicker. And that's always the goal, right? To see the next generation be able to excel kind of past what we've been able to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I continue to bring, to the community through entrepreneurship. And I think it's just really important for us as a community, as a business, to be really intentional about not only capitalism and making money, but what we do with it.
Yeah.
And how we create these opportunities to give back, right? What are we doing philanthropically to really pour back into the community,
right?
And creating kind of these social enterprises that are able to still be profitable, but still have soul.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So let's go back to the corporate world. What job were you working, and how in the world do we get into the world of production?
Yeah. So I've always been an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I've always been creative. Come from a very creative household.
Okay.
So growing up, I was into the performing arts, so stepping, dancing.
Wait. So you can step? You can dance?
I can do a little bit of everything. I don't do it, currently I'm not a practicing like performing artist, but from the time I could walk up until 18, I was on stage performing.
Okay.
And it's just a huge part of my life, and the way that I was able to, me and my brothers were able to kind of express ourselves growing up.
Yeah.
And my father was an inline skater, studied martial arts, danced, all those things, grew up New York, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? And then my mother is a seamstress. And so, again, come from this really creative household.
Yeah.
I always say, like, we were creative before creative was cool, before it was like this catchy term. And so we've just like transferred that creative energy into what we do now. So fast forward, went to college, really as a means to like job security.
Okay.
Practicality. I always say I'm optimistically pragmatic.
Okay.
Right? So I'm a visionary at heart. I'm always be a visionary, but at the same time, I realized that we got to pay bills.
Right.
Like you have to be able to put food on the table, clothes on your back, roof over our head. So me being pragmatic, I knew that I needed to go get a job. I knew I needed to study in a field, either business or healthcare, which I studied both. Started off in business and transitioned to healthcare.
Okay.
So I graduated at UNC Charlotte with a degree in health communication and public health.
Okay.
And got out, started working at a healthcare company.
Okay.
And as soon as I started working, I just knew it was something else for me.
Right.
And so instead of me complaining about it, I said, okay, Khaleel, let me be devoted to being the best that I can be while I'm here in this role. So I was in data analytics, I was in product support, I was a consultant, and I managed data for hospitals from around the country.
Okay.
I did that for 3 years. But simultaneously, I was building Loyd Visuals as well.
Wow.
And so eventually I just kind of saved up enough and just decided to take the leap of faith.
How in the world, when we were in the middle of the healthcare system, did we decide we're going to take steps to build a production company?
Yeah.
Like, how did we weave that in the healthcare field at the time?
So my fault, I skipped that part. So again, started talking about how creative my family is.
Right.
So my middle brother, Najim, at the time, still is really into like photography, streetwear. And he's an influencer and has 100,000+ followers on Instagram and does a lot of different brand deals. So, he's popping. But I saw that like creative energy and gifts really early.
Mm-hmm.
And then Malik, my youngest brother, he started winning like national competitions for cinematography when he was in like high school.
Okay.
Like this is a kid who picked up the piano when he was in like middle school and taught himself how to play. So again, just really gifted. And I saw that gift in him at a really young age. And so as soon as I got into my corporate job, I was like, listen, this is great. I thought the money was going to be life-changing, but it's not. So instead of you working for a company, making them millions of dollars, how about we just start our own company? And so I kind of did a self-inventory check of myself, my brothers, and also just looked at like history, right? Success leaves breadcrumb trails.
Right.
So I looked at the top Forbes 100 like wealthiest people, and I saw that a lot of those individuals were family, right? So you got the Waltons, for example. You got 3-4 different Waltons up on that list, right? The heirs of Walmart, JP Morgan, right? You have all these different companies that, we know today as household names.
Yeah.
But they started off as families. So you take, while some people will say, controversial, but nonetheless, I mean, you have, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, and they were into a lot of different industries, right? Oil, transportation, and that wealth that was created early on got trickled down, from generation to generation. So I just looked at that model and I said, okay, how can I create something similar, kind of in our own way? And that was really like the start of Loyd Visuals and why we decided to chart this path.
three brothers coming together and deciding to, use each other's gifts and create infrastructure and generational wealth for, each of your families. So I think that is commendable for you to look at, what is working for, all of these families or all of the people that you see on Forbes list and be able to see, that thread line. So, sure. I think that's interesting because some people could say, I ain't working with my family. So did you have to take some ego? Or was there ever ego or pride, or were you already just fixated on, we're going to do this together?
I think as a community, we got to change how we think about working with our family. I think it's necessary for us to figure it out, right? Because we quick to work with strangers. Right. So we quick to work with strangers and, we get a job and we have to figure things out with people that you have, no idea of who they are. We have to find ways to work together within our family, within our community. And so that's just something we got to get over, quite frankly. Now, you do need to use discernment, right? Because at the end of the day, if somebody shows you who they are, you got to believe them.
Yeah.
But what I do is I look for the gifts that the people around me have. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your blood family. Family is an action verb. I look at these titles as brother, father, son, mother, whatever. It's not just a noun, it's a verb. You got to show and prove. It's not enough just to be blood related. You have to really put forth the effort, right, to make sure you're showing up in that way for your family. And so, even if it's not your blood family, find people around you that you can build with, that have gifts in different areas. I always say, how are your weaknesses, right? The things that I'm really good at, my brothers Malik and Najee may not be, and vice versa. And so this is how we're able to work together in unison for a common goal. And so I would encourage everybody to find the people around you that are gifted in different areas. And if you all have this idea that you want to accomplish together, go for it.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen if you're doing it together? Because it can be a win or it could be a lesson on, okay, we can do this, but we got to, pivot a little bit or see, how we can do it better or tighten up the ship. Has there ever been a time where it's okay, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board because something isn't right in that beginning process, or maybe even now of building Loyd Visuals?
Yeah, every day brings different challenges. That's the good thing about running a business is there's always something new, a new challenge that you have to identify, a new challenge that you have to solve and kind of get over that hump. For me, it's a lot of different things. I didn't grow up. What my friends always say, there's no rich uncles. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have an uncle that I can call for, hey, I need a loan, or hey, how do I, finish this business plan? So I'm really self-taught in terms of being able to understand what it takes to run a business. But I also have informal mentors. I can go online and, look up what Sam Altman is doing or what Jay-Z has done, or Mark Zuckerberg, or I can go online and find this information. So I think when it comes down to, working with family, when it comes down to trying to figure out what business you want to create, it's all about understanding what you're really good at and then being able to be in a position to be passionate enough so that if whatever happens, you're still committed to the cause, right? Because things are definitely not going to go your way.
Right.
But to your question, I have a team of 5 full-time employees, and then I have another 7 to 10 contractors that I work with on a month-to-month. So infrastructure is always something that I'm looking to continue to build. We're in a people business, so I have to work with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities. And then ultimately, sales and business development, right, is something that I'm always focused on as the CEO of the company. It's my responsibility to ensure that we have enough outbound inbound leads coming in to keep the lights on and things of that nature. So that's always, something that's at the top of my mind.
I asked one of my last guests this question. Do you have to be disciplined or obsessed with your business or with what you're working on to continue to put work into it even when you do not feel like it? Which one?
I think it's both, to a certain degree.
Okay.
It's like this concept of balance. It's like, it's not really about balance, it's about harmony, right? Because sometimes you're gonna have to stay up really late and wake up really early, right? But there are other times where you can rest and, take days off and do what you need to do to recharge. So yes, there's areas that, you need to be disciplined in. I think obsession, I would say, is equivalent to like passion as well. Like, you have to be really passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that when things get rough, you can go back to your why.
Right.
You can like literally ask yourself, like, yo, why am I doing this again?
Right.
And if your why is big enough, right? If your obsession and your passion is big enough, then you'll go back.
Right.
The next day.
Right.
And you'll get up, you'll do it again, or you'll pivot.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important for people that, want to start a company or organization, whether it be for-profit or nonprofit, the hack to, going at your dreams is doing something that you love so that it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
So, when I get up, sometimes I don't feel like it's work. I get the chance to work with the people that I love.
Yeah.
I get to create really meaningful content. I get to work with really talented people. So I've created this hack in my life where I've been an architect of creating the life that I want to live.
Yeah.
Because I love what I do. So there are elements of work, obviously, that need to be done.
Right.
You got to pay taxes. You got to pay bills. You got to balance the balance sheet. Understand your P&L, your cash flow. But again, you got to choose your heart.
Yeah. Facts.
I'm either going to be like doing hard work for my business, or I'm going to do hard work for somebody else. So
I sometimes look at it like, you have to have a different bone. You have to have a different dog in you to say, I'm going to trade in these 40 hours that I could work at this job and put it in my own business. Yeah. Because when you are working on your own business, it's like it's not a 9 to 5 no more.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
So it's a different bone that you have to carry to be able to trade the hard.
Yep. Yeah,
literally.
I always say, like, I stopped working 40 hours a week and started working 24/7. Like, it's nonstop.
Right.
But it's worth it. That's why you got to choose something that you're really passionate about.
Right.
So yeah.
No, facts. What was a project that made you think, okay, I can step away from this and I'm gonna go full on into Loyd Visuals? Was like there specific?
Yeah, I think like when I was working my corporate job, we were doing like small gigs, like weddings. There was a politician that we were doing like campaign videos for.
Okay.
Fashion videos. We would do kind of like just odd videos. And what it was the consistent like effort that we put out there and the practicality of us being able to like earn revenue on a month-to-month basis. And once I was able to match that up with my bills and say, okay, well, making this amount, is that going to cover the spread? Yes. Cool. All right. So this makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So that was the practical side of me taking that leap of faith. But then I also realized that, and I don't suggest anybody do this, but I had my 401k. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna liquidate the 401k and I'm gonna use that to invest in the company.
Okay.
So, again, disclaimer, I don't suggest.
Why? You did it?
I did it, but I got a level of self-awareness where I knew that like I was gonna be able to bounce back.
Right.
And so I always preach that, like, yo, like understand like who you are, to your point, right? You gotta have a certain it factor in you to be able to, run a company.
Right.
So you got, gotta make sure you got that.
Yeah.
Before you decide to take that leap of faith. And so, yeah.
Okay. But let's go back to the 401k real quick. So did you empty it all out? Did you empty the clip?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
what did you invest in?
Camera equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just, my living expenses that I needed. But I was young. I was like 20, I'd be like maybe 24, 23.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, listen, like if it don't work out, I'm gonna just go back and get a job.
Right.
But by the grace of God, we still here.
Yes.
And, we still doing our thing. And then fast forward, once I quit my job at the end of, and in 2017, I worked odd jobs. I was just hustling, doing whatever. Uber. I was working third shift at like UPS. Like getting cargo off the planes. There's no ego when it comes out of hustle. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make it happen. So that's just how I've always been. And so I took 2018 just to really grind it out, figure it out, make connections, because I knew that Malik was graduating at the end of the year. So by the time he graduated at the end of 2018, 2019, we was both full-fledged into the company. And we landed a project with Airbnb that took us around the world to 12 different countries. So that was the project that I knew was like, okay, this is the sign that we can build a sustainable business. And then, we can do this for the long run.
Yes. Okay. So how did you get the Airbnb project to go around the world? Like what?
I mean, the power of relationships, I think being a good person is really like not valued enough. It's not rocket science. You have to be good at what you do, and then you have to be somebody who has really good character and stands for something and has like solid values. And like when people, recognize that, they're gonna want to associate themselves with you.
Yeah.
And then when they see your work, they're gonna be like, okay, check. Cool. Let's make it happen. It's funny enough. The guy that hired us for this project just reached out to us a couple of days ago. Like, hey fellas, I need your help with something else.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, for sure, we got you. So yeah, it was it's a brother that, and I never met him, but he knew about our company, and he's in my fraternity as well. And so he had got a job at Airbnb and was just like, hey guys, I got an opportunity.
Right.
And like, yo, can you be in Mexico City in like 2 weeks? It's like, yeah, let's do it. So it was off to the races.
Straight like that. Okay. Side note, what fraternity?
Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I didn't pledge in college, but I really wanted to. I ran track. It was just no time. Like, it was no time. And I always think about grad chapter. It's like in my face to do grad chapter, but I feel like at this point in life, like the amount of time that I want to put into it just don't make sense now.
Yeah. I mean, you go with your gut, go with your heart. I wear my letters from the inside out, so most people not even gonna know that I'm associated with any fraternity. But shout out to the brother. It's still brotherhood. And, when I left college, I just didn't want to have any regrets. And kind of coming from my experience in high school, I was exposed to kind of the fraternity sorority culture, just by virtue of me being involved in this kind of world of stepping. And so we used to go and like travel up and down the East Coast and perform.
Okay.
Like, we went to 106 & Park like a couple times. Okay. And we went like Wildin' Out Wednesdays. Like this is pre like social media. So we was like popping for real. Like, this is like 09, 2010.
Who are you? Like, who am I sitting here?
I mean, I lived a lot of lives, I'm probably like on my 15th life right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to see it. Like, I'm not saying I don't see it, but it's just kind of like when you talking to someone, you learn all these things. It's like, wow, okay, that's so.
Just out there, just Umoja Mel Step Team on YouTube. Check it out.
Okay, okay, I'm here for it. So the Airbnb project, we're talking about building relationships. So would you say that's like one of the main things that has kept consistent work for your company?
Yeah, that's a part of it. But again, it goes back to the work. Like you got to be competent. You got to be, best in class. You have to have key differentiators, right, that set yourself apart from the competition.
Yeah.
And so once you're able to communicate that value to the marketplace, then that's really what's going to speak for itself.
Right.
And then once people see the work, they see the fruit. And from there, they get a chance to meet the people that's, behind the brand, and
Yeah.
hopefully, you've done enough to kind of seal the deal. But that's what business is. It's about just having a product or service that you can offer to the marketplace and get paid for.
Right. In terms of the business side, where you're saying that you're doing self-development and you're always looking at ways to improve, is there something that you like go back to in terms of system? Like, how did you create a system that you could be able to look back at the P&L or look back at, the inbound and outbound and look back at that consistently to say, okay, month by month, we're going to be okay. Like a system, like where did we get that from?
Yeah, I mean, you look at any major Fortune 100 to 1,000 company, they have really good people that work for them. And then they also have really strong systems and technology that they leverage to be able to do their business or be able to operate their company. And so we're no different. I treat our company like a Fortune 100 company, and having the opportunity to work in a corporate environment and understand how to meet deadlines, understand the importance of corporate communication, of account management, of all of these things, I was able to transfer those skills into what we're doing now. So I'm a huge stickler in systems. I'm a huge stickler in leveraging technology to make our jobs easier. And so we use a variety of tools, right? From ClickUp to the Google Suite, Dropbox to on the post-production side, DaVinci Resolve, and we used to use Premiere Pro. And yeah, I mean, we meet, right? My team meets every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. Like, these are standing meetings that we have, right? Our Monday huddles, our Wednesday project management meetings, and our Friday operations huddles. So like, we're meeting consistently just to make sure that things are like running appropriately. And then I've been really big into creating standard operating procedures as well.
Okay.
So anything that we do like 2 times, anything that's like needs to be done repetitively, we need to have a system in place that folks can fall back on to understand like what they need to do in order to get the job done.
Right.
So that's helped us out a lot as well.
Okay, if all 3 brothers were out of town or something, and maybe this has happened, I'm just like thinking, all 3 brothers are out of town, can Loyd Visuals run a full project?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at this stage of our professional careers, I could confidently say yes. It wasn't always like that, but we've had projects running simultaneous.
Okay.
Where I may manage a project and Malik has another project happening, or we just hire a team to just go out there and execute. And that's where like relationships and really good partners come in place as well.
But how do you make that decision if the client wants y'all? They want Loyd Visuals. So how did you get to the point where you separate, it's not going to be us, it's going to be the quality. But what if they want the quality and you?
Well, I mean, it's the nature of the industry that we're in, right? Any video project, we're hiring a team, right? So it's not like we have 5 editors, a DP, assistant director, camera operators, gaffers, grips, like just on staff salary, right? Again, it goes back to the gig economy, that these individuals are used to kind of just work for hire type of relationship with production companies. And so what we have to focus on is getting the project, getting the client, and then handling the pre-production so they understand we have a really strong plan in place before we start filming. And then once we, get to the day of shooting, then it's about just putting our team in place to execute the project.
Yeah.
So most of the time, like 7 to 8 times out of 10, like we're there. But there are cases where we'll just send a team out and go execute for us.
Okay, so what are you looking for in new team members to like, is there like a certain ethos or a certain like character? Like, what are you looking for in that person who wants to be a part of the team or who may be on a job where you're not there?
Yeah, great point and great question, because at the end of the day, you have to hire people and work with people that you're okay with them representing the company, because it takes years and years to build up a reputation. and you can lose it, just like that.
Yeah.
So what I look for is just really being a solid individual. Like, again, it's not rocket science. You got to have soft skills, right? You got to be able to like build relationships with people. You got to be able to communicate effectively. Depending upon the role that you're hired for, it's not enough just to be really like technically good at your job. Because if that person that's like really, really good at their job but is an asshole, then they're just gonna be like, rioting for the team.
Right.
So I'd rather somebody that maybe is still good at what they do,
right,
but knows how to work in a team and knows how to get along with people. And a lot of times you're gonna find both. You're gonna find people that are really good at what they do, and that are just really good people. So those are the people that I'm looking for.
Okay, so you're not teaching nothing now, or they're gonna have to go to the creative community?
It depends upon the project that we're working on.
Okay,
because there's levels to it, right? Like, we could be working on a documentary for ESPN, and that's a certain caliber of individual that we need on that project. Or it could be working on a passion project that is not client, based,
right?
But it's something that we want to produce, and that's an opportunity for people that are a bit more novice to help us out.
Okay. So, if you go back into your arsenal of projects, what was the one project that went totally left, but it went left in a good way because it taught you how to move forward in the correct way?
I mean, in life, you just got to roll with the punches. You got to be like water, as Bruce Lee would say. And so that's the mentality that like we come to every project with. It's like we have this idea, but it's not just about what we want to do. We have to work with a client that has ideas as well.
Yeah.
So we have to collaborate. We worked on a project with ESPN and Anscape earlier this year, and we were filming in a LED like wall, so a volumetric studio with the LED wall in the floor, and that was our first time kind of filming in an LED wall kind of environment like that. So we came like 2 days early to do like tech rehearsals and make sure that everything was set up appropriately. And we had one idea going into it, but that night before, we scrapped everything.
Why?
Because we realized that the idea that we had just wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to land the way that we wanted it to land.
Okay.
So we took a different approach, and it turned out great. It was an editorial piece for a movie that they just recently put out called "A Man in My Basement."
If not you, then who? If not you, then who? If not you, who? If not you, who? If not you, who? If not you, who?
So did you see that there needed to be a change because you went 2 days earlier to do the tech rehearsal?
Yeah.
There you go.
So basically, with this editorial, we were going to use some of the slates from the movie.
Okay.
But we recognized that people not seeing the movie, they weren't going to understand some of the environments that we had in there. And so instead of us, and it's an LED studio, so it's not real. Right. And people are going to know that it's not real. Right. Although it's real photos and real like images in an LED environment, it's still virtual. Right. The consumer, the end, user, watcher is smart, and they're going to know that this is not like a real environment. So we didn't want to like push the limits between like what's real versus reality. Right. So we just went the abstract route, and we said, okay, let's make this like totally abstract. Okay. With elements of a real shoot at the end. Okay. So what you'll see is Corey like running through the Paris Marathon. He ran the Paris Marathon last year, and they got footage of that. We wove that footage into the footage that we shot there, created these different environments, had him go through a lot of different emotions, and then when we pulled out, everybody saw that we were on a set.
Right.
So that was just the thought process, that we had going into the project, to getting there to the tech rehearsal, then to meeting at night and being like, hey guys, we gotta, go in a different direction. But it was a fun project. And so you can check it out. It's on our Instagram page. And, I think it's on Anscape's website as well.
Okay. So did everybody agree to take a turn, or was there someone who's like, nah, we got to stick to it? Like, what are you doing in that moment when somebody on team saying, no, we got to see what we're doing through, but then you have other people who's like, no, we got to change directions.
Yeah. I mean, that's the benefit of being a boss. It's like at a certain juncture in a project, somebody got to make the decision. And typically it's going to be me. It's going to be my brother that has the final, say. Because at the end of the day, it's our names on this literally. Yeah. So, you got to make those tough decisions. You got to make those calls. If I'm on a project, typically I'm serving as a director. In that case, I was serving as a director. Okay. But I'm also, an executive producer as well. So I'm responsible for the end product. So I'm particular, about a lot of things in life, but specifically like in this case, I wanted to make sure that we had a really great end deliverable that we were all proud of.
So are you taking a walk to think real quickly? Do you make fast decisions? How are you making the final decision? What you got to do?
Well, I'm listening. I'm observing. I'm taking in a lot of data. And my decision, the good news is that because we've been doing this for so long, that I'm able to take in the data and lean on the experience that I have to make a decision that's calculated, right? That's not emotion-based. That's rooted in something real. So that's what gives me the confidence to just continue to show up as who I am. And I've learned to trust myself. I learned to trust my gut, because there were times where I didn't listen to my gut, and I was made a decision, and then I was disappointed in myself because I knew better. So now at this point in my life, if I feel something, then I don't really question it too much. I just go for it.
I like that. I like making a decision based on the experiences that you had, pulling from that. I respect that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there is someone who is wanting to be a part of New Age Creatives, what is one thing, if they go through the program or the membership or they come to the events, what is one thing that you want them to take away from Loyd Visuals in general? One thing out of their time interacting or being a part.
One thing is tough. I would say value. At the end of the day, when you sign up for our community, I want you to be able to take practical value back to your business, to your everyday life, and be able to apply what you learn directly to what you're doing right now. So that would be the one thing that I hope people take away. I'm not in the business of wasting anybody's time. So when I host something, when I create an event, I let people know yo, you might meet, your next partner, business partner, you might meet your next romantic partner, you might meet your next investor, whatever the case may be, because that's the quality of person that I like to make sure that I'm bringing into the room. And so, that in my opinion is priceless. But ultimately, when people join the community, I hope they get value out of it. And then understanding that it is what you make it, right? So what you get in is what you're going to get out. But we're going to do our job to show up and really give you everything that we have.
Okay.
Yep.
What is a Loyd visual original story? What does that look like?
You know what? I don't even think we've created it yet. We've created original stories, but I think we're just tapping the surface of our intellectual property and our creative levels. Right? I think I'm really interested in getting into film now, but it takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and the right people. So some of the original content that we've done in the past, you can check out. It's funny enough, New Age Creatives, the membership platform that we started now was really inspired by New Age Creatives, the original content series that we created in 2019.
Okay.
Where we went around to New York and LA, documented creative individuals that, we are connected with or got introduced to, and told their story in like a 5-minute type of like vignette.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to last year, we partnered up with DTLR and told 5 different stories about entrepreneurs here in the city. And that was called Start With Story. And so the whole idea was to get underneath the hood of like what people do to the who and the why of what they do.
Yeah.
So that was really great. That was original. And so I'm looking forward to doing more original work in the form of like short films or feature films and documentaries and things of that nature.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a time you ever felt like we could expand outside of Charlotte?
Oh yeah. All the time.
So it's in the future?
That's exactly what you just mentioned. It's expanding outside of Charlotte.
Okay.
I love Charlotte. I think, our vision is a lot bigger than Charlotte. And we've been able to, fortunately travel the world, travel the country. My younger brother, Najim, lives in Philly. So that's a city that, we love, that I've been traveling to for a long time.
Okay.
New York. I was born in New York, so a lot of family up there. Was just there last week for CultureCon.
How was it?
It was great. Yeah.
What did you take away from it?
Again, the power of relationships.
Okay.
There was a lot of heavy hitters on the stage.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a great time. So I would definitely go back again and encourage other people to go.
That's dope.
Experience it. Love Toronto. I was just there for Toronto International Film Festival. I could see us, really expanding there. LA, obviously, that's Hollywood. So yeah, anywhere that just makes sense, where there's a thriving creative community, a thriving film community. I think there's an opportunity for us to expand our footprint and our territory, and then obviously international. My mother's from a country called Suriname in South America, and she moved over to the Netherlands when she was like a teenager. So I have family in the Netherlands as well. So we'd love to open up a studio in Amsterdam, South Africa, Cape Town. Cape Town's my favorite city in the world. So yeah, we definitely love Charlotte. This is HQ, but our vision is worldwide.
Okay, what do you think about AI?
It's the now.
Are you weaving into your work? Are you is it unrealistic? Do you
I mean, look, you got it. It's adapt or die. It's as simple as that. It's not a question of do I want to use it? It's if you don't use it, then be prepared to not have a business, anymore. That's the reality of where we at. Artificial intelligence. But I think it can be leveraged to help from an efficiency and a productivity perspective. The things that used to take us hours, days, weeks to do, months to do, can get done a lot quicker.
Right.
Nowadays. So
I guess I look at it as the visual component, because I see some of this visual work that's being done with AI, and I'm I can clearly tell it's AI. Yeah. So will that take away from the human, creativity, the human person running a camera on some of these sets that can now be done on your computer, just knowing how to give it a proper prompt?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I think the key is to learn as much as you can about the new technology that's out there, to incorporate what's applicable, to your work on a day-to-day basis. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens, there's always going to be the need for that human touch, and regardless of what, going back to if you love what you do, you never work another day in your life. I always think about it from the standpoint of man, listen, if AI comes, or there's a new technology or software that shuts everything down tomorrow, and Loyd Visuals has to pivot into something else, I got peace that I did everything that I could.
Yeah.
And that we had a great run.
Yeah.
All right, it's on to the next. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's just my thoughts about AI. But yeah, you gotta figure out how to incorporate that in because it's here. It's not the future. It's the now.
It is here.
Yeah.
It literally is here. Okay, rounding it off. What does "if not now, when" mean to you?
I think there's a level of urgency outside of just like kind of your day-to-day tasks to understand that, like, you know, we're living in a world where things are moving so quick that it's really our responsibility to be the change that we want to see.
Yeah.
So if there's something that you don't like about whatever it is, you got to ask yourself, like, what is it that I can do? What can I contribute to ensure that this problem is resolved?
Right.
Or, you know, I leave this world a better place than I found it.
Yeah.
So that's what that means to me. You know, if not now, when? If not us, who? You know, I guess I say, ask that to my friends all the time. It's just like a quote, a mantra that stays really near and dear. It's just a reminder that, like, we are the ones that's going to save ourselves, and the time is now.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your conversation.
Yes,
like, learned so much in this short period of time, but quality gems from you. And I can't wait to, you know what, I'm going to manifest, you know, one day we're going to be on set.
Okay.
And I don't know what we're going to be on set for.
Yeah.
But I'm going to look at you and I'll be like,
we did. Yeah, I'm not speaking into existence, yo.
I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not going to limit what the set is.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's going to be a set and I can't wait.
Yeah, listen, like, you put it out there, manifestation is real. So,
right.
Yeah, Lord willing, it'll happen. And thank you for the opportunity just to, you know, share time, share space, share knowledge. I think you're really gifted in, you know, the art of communication and dialogue. So not a lot of people that I just enjoy talking to, but yes, it's been great.
Thank you.
Your time, get on.